Chapter 80. In the bathroom. Under the gentle, warm light, Liu Jiwei and Sang Wansi looked at each other. Even now, Liu Jiwei's sluggish brain was still thinking about what just happened. She had sat on Sang Wansi's lap, and Sang Wansi had pulled on her wrist. Sang Wansi said she wanted to bathe with her. Looking into Sang Wansi's eyes, she had inexplicably said, "Okay." Then here they were. Sang Wansi leaned against the sink and Liu Jiwei stood in front of her. Looking at each other. Liu Jiwei's face was tinged with a pale red. She suddenly could not tell if it was because of the charged atmosphere, or because of the slight tipsiness left by the red wine. Her eyelashes fluttered as she diverted her gaze, her tongue dry. She scratched her neck and coughed lightly, breaking this ambiguous silence first. I will go fill the tub." She turned to walk towards the bathtub. Sang Wansi's house was very large, and the bathroom, naturally, was not small either. There was a large, white, round bathtub in the bathroom, housed in white marble by the window. Once the white roller shutters were opened, one would be able to soak in the bathtub while taking in the night scenery outside. Liu Jiwei had never experienced such a way of bathing. Now, she didn't have the mood to notice all this either. Her attention was completely on the person behind her. Even her footsteps were light, as if afraid she wouldn't be able to hear each breath from the person behind. "Wait!" she suddenly heard Sang Wansi say. She turned back to take a look, and her waist was suddenly hugged as she got pulled towards Sang Wansi. Blinking, Sang Wansi's kiss had already landed on her lips. With the number of times they had been intimate, they had long engraved each other's smell into their memories. Even the gentlest of touches could immediately provoke a response. Involuntarily, uncontrollable. This was all like a prelude. What would happen next all seemed to make sense. Liu Jiwei closed her eyes and kissed Sang Wansi. She didn't know if Sang Wansi was also tipsy, but she could feel a different kind of desire between them start to sprout. Sang Wansi was caressing her wrist, and she quickly took off the black lace strap from Liu Jiwei's wrist. The prelude stopped here, as if a pause button had been hit. Liu Jiwei slowly opened her eyes, a trace of drunken haze in them. She could not tell if it was because of the wine, or because of the person in front of her. What are they going to do? Was it what she thought? Sang Wansi's hand gently landed on her face, stroking it. "It is inconvenient to wear this." She was talking about the lace strap, referring to filling the bathtub. Liu Jiwei immediately understood. Liu Jiwei, you hooligan!" Filled with shame, she quickly turned around to reflect on herself while facing the bathtub. Her little girlfriend never even thought about those things, but she was the one thinking about all this nonsense. It was just bathing together. What was the big deal? Didn't they already bathe together multiple times before they even got together? Liu Jiwei, how could you think of all this just because of a bath? Liu Jiwei, I'm really a dirty adult. JPG. The sound of running water filled the bathroom. Sang Wansi came back to her senses, looking at Liu Jiwei, who was wearing a long skirt. Slender figure, soft waist. The curved, smooth outline of her arms. Her bare, slender ankles. Unlike before, her eyes stopped on these parts and a secret desire buried in her heart seemed to be growing. Even the black lace strap she was holding in her hand seemed to grow hot, to the point it was scorching her palm. She forced herself to look away, turning to look into the mirror. Her face was a bit red, she was indeed a bit drunk. There was something else in her eyes. Something that she only had towards Liu Jiwei. She desired Liu Jiwei. Whether it was because of the alcohol or whatever other reason, she wanted to take the next step with Liu Jiwei. She knew what she was doing. She also knew that she was already an adult. But did her Jiwei want it? She did not know. But she could entice her. The romance between adults could abandon innocence and have a little seduction to cross the line. In front of Liu Jiwei, this was what she was most capable of. Because of Liu Jiwei's biasedness for her, so she could always make Liu Jiwei willingly give her everything. As Liu Jiwei filled the bathtub, she tried to calm herself down. Wan Si is such an innocent child, do not keep thinking of this nonsense. If the little friend finds out, where are you going to hide? She exhaled. Okay, she was done calming herself down. She reached out a hand and tested the warmth of the water. Okay, the bath water was ready too. Wan Si, the bath's ready. She turned to see Sang Wan Si standing in front of the mirror. Hearing her voice, Sang Wan Si slowly turned her head to look at her and nodded. Then, she saw Sang Wan Si's lips part as she made an irrefusable request that caught her off guard. Big sis, help me take my clothes off. Liu Jiwei's face immediately flushed red. What is she doing? Does she know that this is a type of temptation to me? This kid has gotten naughty. Okay, Sang Wan Si asked again, seeing her not move. Liu Jiwei had no way to refuse. Desire blinds the mind. She walked over in a daze. It was only when she had undone the first button that she realized what she was doing. She stopped moving. She lifted her eyes to look at Sang Wan Si, only realizing then that Sang Wan Si had been looking at her all along. Never taking her eyes off, with deep emotions. She couldn't help but ask, Wan Si, are you drunk? Sang Wan Si's reply was crisp, a little. Then she continued, but I know what I'm doing. The underlying meaning was that she wanted Liu Jiwei to continue. Liu Jiwei's lips parted, wanting to say something but not knowing what to say. After opening her mouth for a while, she suddenly felt like her mouth was dry, her rationality following Sang Wan Si. So her movements were exceptionally slow as she undid the buttons, as if she had only learnt how to undo buttons today. The pale expanse in front of her eyes grew even larger. It was like snow on a winter day, clean and flawless. Sang Wan Si took in all of Liu Jiwei's actions and expressions. Seeing her red ears, Sang Wan Si couldn't help but smile, lifting a hand to touch the tip of her ear and saying in a low voice, Jiwei, your ears are very red. Liu Jiwei was now completely numb because of all the flirting. She grabbed Sang Wan Si's shirt, lowering her head to rest on Sang Wan Si's shoulder as she sighed, Sang Wan Si, you really are. Why is it that you can always make my heart race? Do you know that I have no defense against you? What should I do with you? Sang Wan Si's amused gaze started to have a hint of smugness. No matter when, as long as she expressed it, Liu Jiwei would accept it all. Because she liked her, very much. Big Sis's favorite person. She leaned closer to Liu Jiwei's ear, continuing her sentence. Her fingertips gently held onto the zipper for Liu Jiwei's skirt as she pulled it down slowly. It's time to bathe, big sister. Liu Jiwei sat at one end of the bathtub, looking at the person opposite her with a flushed face. Her brain was foggy, she did not even remember how she got in. Desire blinds the mind. Desire really blinds the mind. She was blaming herself internally. But she felt like Sang Wan Si was willing. It was as if it was not a one-sided desire by her, but more like both of them wanted it. Maybe some time ago, they had long reached this secret agreement. It was just waiting for today, waiting for a joyous occasion and tipsiness to help them fulfill this moment. Or how could her little girlfriend keep enticing her? Wasn't it the child learning to be naughty? She looked at Sang Wansi, realizing her ears were red too. Who knew if it was because of the warmth of the water, or because of their frankness? She did not know if she had seen wrongly, even. She could not help but draw closer. Amidst the warm water and the steam rising up, the distance between the two people shortened. Lu Jiwei started staring at Sang Wansi. Sang Wansi's pale ears were incredibly red now, but her face was still calm and serene. Lu Jiwei suddenly found a bit of peace. She wasn't the only one who was shy. Although her little girlfriend didn't show her emotions, but her ears betrayed her. It was too cute. She learned from Sang Wansi, reaching out a hand to pinch Sang Wansi's ear. Wansi, your ears are very red too. Then she was hugged. Sang Wansi buried her face in the crook of Lu Jiwei's neck, gently saying hum. She had no intention to deny it. Lu Jiwei paused, then put her hand down to hug the person in her arms. An honest hug, an honest attitude, it didn't need clarification, it was enough for the other person to understand. She could not help but ask lightly, Wansi, are you sure? Sang Wansi, She was very clear what she was doing, and she was very clear what she wanted right now. Lu Jiwei was very happy she was willing to take things a step further. But do you know how Lu Jiwei asked the most important question? Sang Wansi's answer was as frank as always, I do not. Lu Jiwei fell silent. I do not either. They were two inexperienced people. Then, Lu Jiwei heard Sang Wansi speak, full of confidence, but I have seen fanfics before. Lu Jiwei. Silly child, I've seen that too. Besides, can you really learn anything from fanfics? Sang Wansi did not know if she could copy it. But she really wanted to try with Lu Jiwei. There were countless first tries in life. If it couldn't be done on the first try, then there was a second try. Practice makes perfect, there would always be a day when they were experienced. Just like kissing. They did not know how to do it at the start, but now they knew each other better than anybody else. She hugged Lu Jiwei's waist, kissing her neck then her cheek. Big sister, do you want to try? Her voice was low, but gentle, like the wind brushing against the ear, enticing and hard to resist. So Lu Jiwei was coaxed and seduced by her, nodding. After Lu Jiwei nodded, she saw Sang Wansi's lips curve upwards, showing a beautiful smile. Her heart jumped and she leaned forward to kiss her. Desire burned like a fire, burning on the tip of their tongues, burning in their hearts and mouths, the atmosphere getting hotter and more urgent. Lu Jiwei could feel Sang Wansi's hand brush against her skin. Accompanied by the sound of rippling water, each slender, long finger carried the gentlest sense of love. Her body tensed up. Sang Wansi's kiss was distracting her. Their breaths intermingled. Soon, she felt a probing touch. Immediately, the embarrassment and fear buried in the bottom of her heart surged out. She held Sang Wansi's wrist, a restrained sigh coming from her mouth, do not. Sang Wansi had just thought of something and was about to stop. But Lu Jiwei stopped her first. She asked, what is it? I'm afraid. Lu Jiwei suddenly felt guilty, unable to meet her eyes as she leaned her forehead against Sang Wansi's shoulder. Wansi, I am scared of pain. You know that. She didn't know how it would be like when they did it, she didn't know whether the pleasure written in the fanfics was true or false. She only knew that she was scared of the unknown, the first time that she had wanted to withdraw because of it. She had let Sang Wansi down. Sorry Wansi, sorry. She repeated guiltily. The tipsiness had made her forget her own problem. So she still needed some time. Give her a bit more time, she would definitely be able to overcome this and take the next step with Sang Wansi, giving her everything she wanted. Definitely. How could Sang Wansi not understand? She gently hugged her, patting her back and stroking her head, warmly comforting, "Do not apologize, I understand." Then, she let Lu Jiwei look at her hand. "Jiwei, I was just about to tell you." Her fingernails were a bit long, it was clear it wasn't suitable. Lu Jiwei paused. Sang Wansi kissed her forehead, apologetically saying, "It is not your fault, I was too impatient." She wanted Lu Jiwei so much, to the point that desire had clouded her mind and she had forgotten that if something wasn't right, it would hurt Lu Jiwei. Thankfully, they had stopped in time, or if she had made her Jiwei hurt and cry, she would be guilty for the rest of her life. Lu Jiwei did not blame her. Under these circumstances, who wouldn't be impatient? She was even fantasizing about it. So she also wanted to take the next step with her girlfriend. Thinking about it, she lifted up her hands. The two of them looked at it. Her fingernails were all clipped short, neat and tidy. Because it was her first time attending the Golden Autumn Awards, Lu Jiwei had tidied herself up, trimming her nails last night. Sang Wansi touched her fingernails, speaking decisively, "Jiwei, you do it." Lu Jiwei. She was suddenly anxious, "But I do not know how, what if I hurt you?" She was afraid of pain, and she would naturally be afraid of people around her hurting. Especially Sang Wansi. Sang Wansi was calm, "I am not afraid of pain." She kissed Lu Jiwei's lips, encouraging and reassuring her, "We have to try a few times to get used to it, then it won't hurt." Her intention to sacrifice herself for their happy life was clear. If Lu Jiwei did not agree, she would feel like she was letting Sang Wansi down. At this stage, she could only do it. "Then, tell me if it hurts." Since her wife wanted it, then she had to satisfy her. Even if she could not use her hand, she could use something else. Fanfiction, she had read it, and read others too. Sang Wansi nodded and agreed. Then she wrapped her arms around Lu Jiwei's neck, letting her do as she wanted. This suddenly made Lu Jiwei more motivated. "Lu Jiwei, do your best, don't disappoint your girlfriend." Lu Jiwei's hand sank into the water, moving as carefully as she could. Her heart was thumping in nervousness. This was all too natural and too sudden, she did not prepare for it. Seeing it, Sang Wansi hugged her, stroking her damp hair from time to time. She was comforting Lu Jiwei and comforting herself. Thinking back to the beginning, when she had stepped into this industry, she had never thought she would date anyone. She had never thought she would fall for a woman, to the point of no return, wanting to spend every minute and second with her. To even be willing to give herself to her now. But her Jiwei was worth it. The crisp and clear sound of the water moving traveled through the steam, floating into their ears. Lu Jiwei's fingers continued their exploration, finally reaching the target carefully. She locked eyes with Sang Wansi, kissing her, slowly decreasing the space between them. Her fingers were clumsy, but extremely careful, as if she was touching a rare treasure. Even so, she felt Sang Wansi's body tense up. Sang Wansi held her tightly, feeling uncomfortable. Lu Jiwei quickly stopped, asking her, "Did I hurt you?" Sang Wansi shook her head, realizing the problem almost immediately, "We cannot do it in the water." Lu Jiwei blinked in confusion. Sang Wansi's lips brushed against Lu Jiwei's ear as she softly said, let's change locations. Since she wanted to change, Liu Jiwei didn't have any objections. But Liu Jiwei did not know if it was because of the water, or because of her hand. Thinking about it, Liu Jiwei felt it might be the latter. Since she was inexperienced, it was normal to have problems. But thinking about the fact that she had hurt her girlfriend, the pain fearing her felt immensely guilty. She decided to change the method. There was a hint of coldness in the middle of the autumn night. But Sang Wansi felt the air surrounding her body was extremely hot as she lay on the comfortable bed. The air was dry and hot, and even the love between Liu Jiwei's lips was irresistibly hot. It was as if Liu Jiwei was born with the knowledge of how to pleasure her. Whether it was kissing or tonight's intimacy, she liked it all. She stroked Liu Jiwei's hair, her voice tinged with pleasure and her love for Liu Jiwei. Jiwei! She called out softly, her chest heaving up and down. Hearing her voice, Liu Jiwei stopped, lifting her head to see Sang Wansi's helpless expression. Her eyebrows, her red lips, everything made Liu Jiwei feel moved. Liu Jiwei interlaced her fingers with Sang Wansi's, moving close to her ear. Her eyes only had room for Sang Wansi. Wansi, my Wansi. Sang Wansi hugged her, sighing into her ear, "Big sister, kiss me." She looked both obedient and full of temptation. Liu Jiwei couldn't refuse, obeying her request. Their interlocked fingers were tangled near their heads, inseparable. After a moment, Liu Jiwei heard Sang Wansi whisper beside her ear, "Use your hand." She looked at Sang Wansi use her hand, but she was not very experienced. Sang Wansi's fingertips brushed against Liu Jiwei's lips as she looked at her with watery eyes. "From now on, big sister has to kiss me more, okay?" Her voice was light and gentle, as if she was sharing a secret with Liu Jiwei. She was like a succubus who knew how to seduce others. Liu Jiwei completely couldn't think when she was being enticed. In her head, she could only think, she is so good at this. In terms of how to flirt with her and seduce her, Sang Wansi was absolutely the master. With just a big sister and a glance, Liu Jiwei was willing to do anything. It was both helpless and sweet. "Okay," she leaned down and kissed Sang Wansi's eyebrow, her voice soft. "Whatever my Wansi wants." She was completely defeated by Sang Wansi. "If a person had to have faith, then you are my lifelong faith. From now on, I'll live for myself and for you." Sang Wansi smiled. She pulled Liu Jiwei into a hug again, biting her ear gently, using her most gentle, most affectionate voice, "I like you, I will like you forever." Liu Jiwei was on the verge of losing it from being kissed and bitten. All her emotions felt like they were buried, only a subtle feeling was being amplified, making her unconsciously want more from Sang Wansi, or to give her more pleasure. "Jiwei, tomorrow is a rest day." Sang Wansi smiled, reminding her. Liu Jiwei immediately understood her meaning, burying her face against her neck, suddenly embarrassed. "You really are." "Sister," Sang Wansi said in a low voice. "I want more." Liu Jiwei's heart was immediately struck. "If I die, it must be because she flirted with me to death." After the Golden Autumn Awards was over, they reached home around 10 p.m. and had some wine and took a shower, unexpectedly achieving the great harmony of life, then rested after they got tired. The exhausted Liu Jiwei lay on the bed, picking up her phone to take a look. Good fellow, it was almost 2 a.m. In that moment, she did not know whether or not to be grateful that they had good stamina. Doing it really did take up a lot of time. Although it was very pleasurable. The main point was that her hands weren't good, she had accidentally hurt Sang Won-si twice. She felt like this was like her violin skills, they both had a lot of room for improvement. The only difference was, she could only use her hands when it came to the violin. Putting down her phone, she was pulled into an embrace by the person behind her. Sang Won-si chuckled in her ear, Ji Wei's ears are still very red. She immediately felt even more embarrassed, turning as red as a cooked prawn. Yeah, I am more easily embarrassed. The only area where she was more thick-skinned was when she used another method to please Sang Won-si. Because she was afraid of hurting her girlfriend, so she had unexpectedly become very daring. Besides that, she was basically a red tomato the whole night. Sang Won-si chuckled, kissing the back of her head and hugging her waist tightly. Thank you Ji Wei, I'm very happy tonight. They had become even closer, and their interactions had become even more natural. It was as if their souls had merged, not differentiating between yours and mine anymore. Lu Ji Wei turned back and stroked her face, feeling as if she was dreaming. But the feeling under her fingers was so real. The person in front of her had her own warmth too. I am also very happy I could make you happy. She kissed Sang Won-si's forehead. Be good, quickly go to sleep, you're tired too. Sang Won-si nodded. She covered her mouth as she yawned. Hugging Lu Ji Wei, she fell into slumber. When Lu Ji Wei was prepared, she would definitely let her experience it too. Definitely. The next day, past 11 a.m. Sang Won-si opened her eyes, blurrily looking at the clock beside her bed to realize that it was already so late. She turned around to hug Lu Ji Wei, who had just woken up as well. Morning, Ji Wei. Her voice was hoarse as she kissed Lu Ji Wei's lips. Then she thought about it and kissed her again, correcting herself. Afternoon. Lu Ji Wei smiled drowsily. Was she just looking for an excuse to kiss her? Oh, that's not right. Why would they need an excuse to kiss each other now they had already done everything? Why would they concern themselves with such small details? Afternoon, my little friend. Lu Ji Wei replied indulgently. Sang Won-si liked hearing Lu Ji Wei call her that. Not only did she like it, but she would take the initiative to let Lu Ji Wei know that she liked it. So she hugged her and continued kissing her. Lu Ji Wei was no longer impatient to get up and cook. At this timing, aside from ordering takeout or asking Xiao Chu to deliver food, what else could they do? So she indulged her girlfriend. Then, Sang Won-si's phone rang. It was Zhang Xianrui. After picking up the call, Sang Won-si's voice lazily called out, Sister Zhang. Lu Ji Wei lay quietly by her side, not making a sound. Hearing her voice, Zhang Xianrui paused and looked at her watch, asking incredulously, You would not have just woken up? Sang Won-si answered honestly. I just woke up. Zhang Xianrui tisked in amazement, What a miracle, I rarely see you wake up so late. Sang Won-si continued being honest, it was too tiring yesterday. Lu Ji Wei could not help but look at her. Zhang Xianrui was confused. An award ceremony was so tiring. Sang Won-si looked at Lu Ji Wei, the smile in her eyes growing. Yes. Lu Ji Wei was embarrassed, reaching out a hand to cover her eyes. Sang Won-si could only continue the call like that. Sister Zhang, what are you looking for me for? Zhang Xianrui recalled, Oh, Director Guo Hui sent a script over. She invited you to be the female lead and asked me to ask if you were interested. She emphasized that it's a show with a same-sex relationship. Zhang Xianrui explained it to her. If you accept it, this will be your second time working with Director Guo Hui, it's pretty prestigious. I see that she likes you quite a bit, and the scriptwriter is the same scriptwriter from Questioning Deity Sect, so there's a certain standard there. They are all familiar with you. How about it, are you interested? If you are, then I will get Xiao Chu to send the script to your house, you can take a look then decide if you want to accept it or not. Oh right, there are also other scripts. After you won the Best Actress award, a whole bunch of people want to work with you now. Sang Wansi listened calmly, only asking one question, who is the other female lead? You know her? Zhang Xianrui's voice was calm. Lu Jiwei. I heard the script was sent over, but she has not replied yet. After those 3 words, Sang Wansi did not need to consider any further. I accept. Zhang Xianrui. You were never this fast when accepting shows in the past. Lu Jiwei, who was clueless. Accept what? Chapter 81. Sang Wansi had gotten an in-depth first-hand look at the ability of both director Guo Hui and the scriptwriter when she was filming Questioning Deity Sect. This team was absolutely worth trusting. Besides, like Zhang Xianrui said, the fact that Guo Hui could ask her to work together multiple times was a sign that she did view Sang Wansi highly and liked her. Adding on the fact that they had invited Lu Jiwei as well this time, and she had no reason to refuse. Working on a same-sex relationship movie with her girlfriend, how could she not grab this chance to openly be intimate? Seeing her agree so fast, Zhang Xianrui laughed. Why did you decide on it so fast this time? Sang Wansi was honest, because I feel like Sister Zhang is right, and the other female lead is someone I like. The like she mentioned was romantic. Zhang Xianrui thought it was platonic. Because their relationship was good, Zhang Xianrui did not suspect a thing. The friendship between girls, it was normal to be more intimate. It was also Lu Jiwei's own ability to be so liked by her artiste. Hearing the other female lead is someone I like, Lu Jiwei immediately began to stare at her girlfriend. She had just woken up. The moment she opened her eyes, it was all about her girlfriend. What was a phone she did not know. She did not know what Sang Wansi had accepted either, and she did not know who the other female lead she liked was. But she was curious. It was hard not to care about her girlfriend saying she liked another female actress in front of her, she was even a little jealous. Who had stolen her girlfriend's heart while she was not paying attention on the phone? Zhang Xianrui was speaking, so that's settled then, I will get Xiao Chu to send the script over to you in a bit. Sang Wansi held onto Lu Jiwei's hand. Seeing her eyes filled with curiosity and a bit of jealousy, she couldn't help but smile. It can be sent over later, today is an off day, no rush. All right then. Zhang Xianrui said. She didn't suspect Sang Wansi's words. This child would never skive off in the past, and she would rarely say she was tired. If she said she was tired today, then the Golden Autumn Awards ceremony last night must have really tired her out. After all, she was working until midnight the last few days. So it would be best to let her rest well first. Rest well, Zhang Xianrui said. Call me if there is anything. Sang Wansi hummed in agreement. Zhang Xianrui hung up. Putting down the phone, she turned her head and was immediately hugged tightly by Lu Jiwei. Sang Wansi. Lu Jiwei put on an air of forcing a confession. Miss Sang, who is the female actress you like? Sang Wansi. I paused. Her Jiwei was indeed jealous. She kissed Lu Jiwei decisively. Of course it's you. Lu Jiwei was half in disbelief. But you just said the other female lead. Sang Wansi hugged her back and kissed her again. It is also you. Lu Jiwei kissed her back subconsciously. What? when did I have a collaboration with you that has double female leads? Sang Wansi smiled and deepened the kiss. Their clothes rustled as she pressed herself against Liu Jiwei, lying on top of her. Then she reached out a slender, pale hand, picking up Liu Jiwei's phone from the side of the bed. Liu Jiwei ended the kiss, lying under Sang Wansi, caressing her face as she said, "Miss Sang, do not plan on distracting me with kisses. I will be lenient if you're honest and strict if you refuse. Say it, did you accept a new show, one with double female leads?" When Sang Wansi heard strict if you refuse, her actions paused. She lowered her eyes to look at her lover below, amusement in her eyes while there was a trace of pitifulness in her voice. "Sister is going to be strict with me." That expression clearly was asking, can you bear to be? Liu Jiwei admitted failure, "I cannot bear to." This was her darling girlfriend. She could not even get enough of spoiling her and kissing her, how could she bear to punish her? Sang Wansi's eyebrows smoothed out as she handed Liu Jiwei the phone. "Jiwei, ask your manager yourself." Liu Jiwei. She understood immediately, shock and joy showing on her face. "It is really me, we are going to work together again." Sang Wansi lay on her side, hugging her and smiling. It is you. We're working together again, it is a double female lead this time. Movie with a same-sex relationship. Same-sex relationship. Hearing that, Liu Jiwei's eyes shone. She actually could act in a same-sex movie with her girlfriend, and Sang Wansi's eye for shows had never been bad. This was a good thing. She quickly went to confirm with Wen Yao. Sang Wansi was clinging to her again, hugging her waist and lying behind her. Once she unlocked her phone, she immediately saw Wen Yao had left her a message on WeChat. "Xiao Yao, Sister Jiwei, are you still resting? Call me when you wake up, I have good news." She turned to look at Sang Wansi. Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow lightly, encouraging her to call Wen Yao. The call was made. Anticipation. "Sister Jiwei." Wen Yao's happy voice came from the phone. "Director Guo Hui has invited you to work together again. It is a movie on a same-sex relationship. The scriptwriter is the same one from Questioning Deity Sect, so the quality of the script will be good." Oh, that's right, the other female lead is Sang Wansi. "Wow, if this goes through, you guys will have worked together for a few times. How about it? Consider it, or I will send the script over and you can consider it after taking a look." Liu Jiwei was over the moon. Guo Hui actually invited her to work together. Having a second chance to work together with a famous director, was not it a sign that the other person viewed her acting skills highly? Wen Yao's voice was still coming from the phone. Oh right, and, after you won the award, there are quite a few productions looking for you. It's so nice to be able to choose what you want to work on. Let me know when you have time, I will bring the scripts over for you to take a look." Hearing it, Liu Jiwei was surprised and happy. She had received invitations to shows, and not just one, so this was how it felt like to be noticed. "No need to come over," she said softly. "I will accept Director Guo Hui's invitation. I will look at the rest tomorrow when I go over to find you." Wen Yao didn't he understand, "You are not free now?" Liu Jiwei said gently, "I want to rest a bit more today and be a bit more clear-headed, I am afraid I am dreaming." Wen Yao laughed and started dishing out chicken soup again. "You are definitely not dreaming, this is all the result of your hard work. There will definitely be returns as long as you put in effort. Then I will not disturb you, rest well, see you tomorrow, bye-bye." Bye-bye. After she ended the call and exited the call log, she left it on her home screen. Liu Jiwei did not touch her phone. From when she was a transparent entity until today, her effort put in was not lesser than anybody's. That's why she could win the Best Supporting Actress award with her first show. That's why she was picked by Lu Zhao and affirmed by Guo Hui, with the second opportunity to work together. But she had never thought of all of this before. Because she had never thought about it, because it was once seemed so impossible, so she kept feeling like she was dreaming when she obtained it. At this moment, she heard the person behind her say, "Is the person on your wallpaper your girlfriend?" The familiar voice grounded her to reality. She came back to her senses, looking at her wallpaper. She had just changed it. It was the photo of Sang Wansi that she had posted on Weibo, with that red gown. At the bottom, you could even see the watermark at Sang Wansi v. Sang Wansi was very happy that Lu Jiwei changed her phone's wallpaper to a photo of her. Being able to see her once she unlocked her phone, Lu Jiwei must like her a lot. Just like how she liked Lu Jiwei. Lu Jiwei smiled, "Yes, this is my girlfriend, pretty right." Sang Wansi chuckled, "Why does your photo of your girlfriend have a watermark? I have a clean photo, do you want it?" Lu Jiwei immediately started teasing, "How could you have a non-watermarked photo of my girlfriend? Say it, are you secretly coveting my girlfriend too?" "No." Sang Wansi kissed her neck. "I am coveting you." Lu Jiwei leaned over, kissing Sang Wansi's lips. After a few seconds, she quickly hit the brakes. "No, we cannot. Hurry and wash up so we can eat, or we will not have strength." While eating, Lu Jiwei secretly searched for an answer to her question, is it possible in water? Was it her that could not do it, or was it the environment? The search told her it was the latter. Looking at the answer, she also learnt many small tips. There were many things to prepare for beforehand. But the atmosphere was too good last night, they did not prepare anything at all and just went with the flow. No. They had to prepare for next time. She had to give her girlfriend the best experience. And she only just realized that if all the preparation was done, it actually would not hurt. In simpler terms, her skills sucked. She was filled with guilt as she looked at her phone. She had made Sang Wansi hurt 3 times last night. It was enough to say her skills were horrible. Sang Wansi watched as Lu Jiwei was biting on fish jerky and suddenly sat there looking at her phone, unmoving. She picked up a cup and walked behind her, looking down as she asked, "Jiwei, what are you looking at?" Her gaze swept over the screen. And she saw that answer, "If you prepared well, it will not hurt. It will hurt because your skills suck." Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow. Lu Jiwei got a shock, her phone almost slipping out of her hand. Sang Wansi put the cup down by her side and smiled ambiguously, "Teacher Lu, pay attention when you're eating." Lu Jiwei immediately kept her phone and finished the piece of dried fish, pulling Sang Wansi down to sit beside her. "Teacher Sang should eat with me." Sang Wansi reached out a hand to stroke her cheek, gently saying, "Jiwei already did very well. Take it slow, there's no rush. There were so many first times in life, why force yourself to always do everything perfectly the first time? Even a genius had moments of failure." Lu Jiwei was moved. Clearly Sang Wansi was the one who had suffered yesterday, but in the end, she was the one comforting her today. What kind of gentle angel is she? What qualifications did she have to be liked by someone so good? Thinking about it, Lu Jiwei hugged Sang Wansi, determined to work harder. Even if it was not for herself, it was for Sang Wansi. She had to practice the violin properly when she got home, to become a female lead that would be able to be a good match for Sang Wansi. Of course, she also had to practice her lousy skills. At the same time, she did not forget to check in on the system. Lao Wu, how goes the search for the invader? Not much, Lao Wu didn't hide it from her. The other person is very cautious, they have not made a move lately, so it is not easy to find them. It was like an ant had crawled into a house. In such a big space, the ant was exceedingly small and hard to catch. Most importantly, how did it avoid the system's checks to infiltrate this world? Lao Wu thought about it, then patted his head. He was overlooking things. This was a new world with a new system. It was not too much to say that this was an unfinished prototype. With a world that had not been finished perfectly, that was probably how the person invaded. It might be that the other person was very familiar with their system. The only thing that was uncertain was whether it was the space-time administration, a rival system, or even. He didn't want to think about it. Do not worry, I'll find the invader as fast as I can, Lao Wu promised again. Before that, just concentrate on your relationship and acting and become famous. Liu Jiwei furrowed her eyebrows lightly. She did want to do it well, but if Sang Wansi wasn't well, how could she have the mood to do things well? Sang Wansi was suffering, but she could not do anything at all. Lao Wu comforted her, don't blame yourself, this isn't your fault. You weren't the one who brought the invader to attack the world, don't always put the blame on yourself. Besides, you can at least help Sang Wansi massage her temples and feel a little better when she is having her headaches, isn't that helping? Liu Jiwei felt that he made a bit of sense. That's right, at least she could help to alleviate Sang Wansi's headaches by a bit, that was true. A little bit was better than nothing. She thanked Lao Wu. In her memory, Lao Wu had comforted her quite a number of times. It could be said that Lao Wu really treated her like his own daughter. Lao Wu waved his hand, although she couldn't see it. No need for thanks, I will be happy if you complete the missions quickly and let the world be at peace. All right, I am going to continue fixing stuff, you two have fun. His pitiful, transparent daughter had finally started dating. Why would he be a light bulb he could no longer date, so he might as well catch the invader and let his daughter concentrate on dating. All right, Liu Jiwei smiled slightly. Distinguished administrator, please take your time and walk slowly. After talking to Lao Wu, she turned around and hugged Sang Wansi tightly. The two of them pressed their bodies together even closer, as if they were going to merge into one. Wansi, she stuck to Sang Wansi's neck. If your head hurts, you must tell me. You do not have to hide it from me, okay? Hearing that, Sang Wansi stroked her long hair. Okay. My Wansi must be well, must be healthy and happy. I still have to spoil our teacher Liu for the rest of my life and grow old with teacher Liu. Hearing her say that, Liu Jiwei's heart filled with joy. Their love for each other never stopped at the present, there was an even longer future ahead of them. She happily smiled, Wansi, I really like you. I like you so much I want to pluck the stars and moon for you. Sang Wansi replied, I already have the stars and moon. Liu Jiwei, Sang Wansi hugged her tighter, you are my stars and moon. My Jiwei, you will shine like moonlight in my world. You are my radiant spring. I love you, as long as I live. Liu Jiwei sighed that she really was a flirt, but she could not deny that she liked hearing it. She really liked hearing it. Previously, she had never been loved and never been able to experience love. So she liked other people telling her that they liked her, that they loved her. She liked other people letting her know that she could also be cherished and that she wasn't alone. Sang Wansi did that. You are so good. Liu Jiwei hugged her, comfortably exhaling a long sigh. I will definitely treat such a good teacher Sang well. Tell me if you want anything in the future, I will definitely give it to you, I will give you everything. She definitely had to take care of her flirty princess well. As she said that, she suddenly felt a pair of hands brush against her back. The feeling of them landing on her skin was cool and real. Sang Wanxi's lips pressed gently against Lu Jiwei's ear, a warm breath brushing past. You can give it to me now too. Lu Jiwei shivered, her body tensing up and bumping Sang Wanxi's arms. The two of them pressed closer together, as if by a magnetic force. Lu Jiwei grabbed those hands, her ears red. Eat properly, she said. Sang Wanxi blinked at her innocently. Lu Jiwei struggled, do not go hungry, your physical strength cannot keep up. Sang Wanxi's lips curled as she smiled calmly and sat up straight, touching Lu Jiwei's face, good girl. Lu Jiwei suddenly felt like she had been teased. But since her girlfriend liked it, then it should be proof that her skills probably weren't terrible, at least, not both skills were terrible. She suddenly had a bit more confidence. The day off work was pretty much slept away in the morning, and Lu Jiwei had to leave at night, so there was not much time to spend together. The two of them were clinging to each other, unwilling to part. Aside from doing what she had to do, Sang Wanxi became the epitome of clinginess, following Lu Jiwei everywhere as if she was afraid Lu Jiwei would go missing. Seeing it, Lu Jiwei wanted to bring this baby Sang back home. In the evening, Xiao Chu came over with the script, thus making the two of them a bit more restrained. It was the first time Lu Jiwei had seen a whole bunch of scripts put together in a pile. To her, it was something new. To Sang Wanxi, it was a common sight. She had exceptionally good looks and acting skills, along with a large fanbase and a natural disposition to being on the hot search. She was basically the darling of the production crews. Xiao Chu said these were the scripts that had been saved recently, they were just waiting to bring them over for Sang Wanxi to take a look. As an outsider, Lu Jiwei got up and walked away. Being a Shengyu artiste, what right did she have to sit there and look at the affairs of Fenghe Entertainment? She went to the study room. In the living room, Xiao Chu told Sang Wanxi, in a few days, Director Li is going to hold the celebratory feast for Phoenix. Sister Zhang said you will not be in a production crew for those days, so she can arrange to block off the days and asked me to ask if you want to attend. Sang Wanxi nodded. Since I have nothing on, then let us go. She flipped through two scripts and spoke, Xiao Chu, send Jiwei back later, I'm worried about her going back alone. Xiao Chu bit into an apple and flashed an OK sign. She snuck a glance in the direction of the study and asked, Xiao Sang, did Sister Jiwei sleep here last night? Sang Wanxi looked through the script, her expression unchanging, hm. Xiao Chu was suddenly enlightened, oh, seems like Sister Jiwei does not have a boyfriend then. Sang Wanxi looked up calmly, Xiao Chu analyzed it rationally, if Sister Jiwei had a boyfriend, she would definitely celebrate with him after winning an award, right? Sang Wanxi looked at her for a moment, then looked down and smiled. Yes. The analysis was right, the only error was in the sex of the partner. Xiao Chu propped up her face and exclaimed curiously, I wonder who will be able to marry Sister Jiwei in the future, that person will definitely be well fed. I am so envious. Sang Wanxi smiled. That person is right in front of you. Meng household. Study on the second floor. Meng Lianyu sat with her legs crossed on the sofa, calmly drinking tea. She looked at the man who was standing by the window and put down her cup, knocking on the table, Meng Langcheng, I already sent the video of your daughter winning the award to you, have you seen it? Meng Langcheng did not even turn to look at her. Humph, why must I watch it? Did she win a piano award? Meng Lianyu, oh, is only your piano award worth something? Even sister-in-law did not say that. Meng Langcheng, humph. Meng Lianyu, ha. Meng Langcheng. Meng Lianyu calmly brushed her hair back. It is a bit tiring to constantly hear you humph, so I changed the sound. How is it? Does not it sound much fresher? Meng Langcheng clenched his fists. Meng Lianyu, do you want to go out yourself or should I throw you out? Meng Lianyu said in disdain, what a joke, I got fat recently, you still think you can lift me up to throw me out? Meng Langcheng started rolling up his sleeves, preparing to show her. Looks like this house can no longer keep me. Meng Lianyu got up quickly, her face serious. I am leaving, see you at dinner. The door to the study opened and closed. Meng Langcheng was alone again. The tablet that had the video of his daughter receiving the trophy was on his table, silent and waiting for him to open it. He was struggling internally. He was embarrassed to watch it, but he wanted to. In his heart, he cared more than anybody else about whether his daughter was doing well. That was his only child, the treasure that his wife had suffered through 10 months of pregnancy for. How could he bear to let her suffer outside? When he returned to his senses, he was already standing in front of the table, a hand outstretched and touching the tablet. Forget it, let us just watch it since his annoying sister wasn't around. He opened the video and pressed the play button. But at this moment, the door opened again. Meng Lianyu had returned to take the cup of unfinished tea. In the end, she saw her brother holding the tablet the moment she opened the door. Her voice came from the tablet, let us congratulate the winner for this year's Golden Autumn Awards Best Actress Award, Sang Wan-si. Brother and sister locked eyes. In this moment, there was an unprecedented awkwardness in the air. Meng Langcheng used his strong psyche to turn off the video and put down the tablet, pretending to be calm. What are you doing here again? Meng Lianyu, I am here to take my unfinished tea, don't waste it, did not you say that? Meng Langcheng. Meng Lianyu. Meng Langcheng. Meng Lianyu, pfffttt. Meng Lianyu could not hold back her laugh. Chairman Meng, you're already so old, how could you still secretly watch your daughter's video? If you want to watch it openly. I am telling you, your daughter even filmed a variety show a while back, I will send the link to you later, you can understand your daughter better through it. Meng Langcheng's ears were red. Meng Lianyu was thrown out of the room. Knock before you enter. After that, Meng Langcheng slammed the door shut. Meng Lianyu's hair fluttered in the wind as she stood there and sipped on her tea. Tisk, proud old man. Please read at Julian Lien. WordPress. Com. Soon, it was time for Phoenix's celebratory dinner. This was also the day that Liu Jiwei picked the winner for her prize drawing on Weibo. Everybody was watching in anticipation to see who would win Wusan and Wang Hoxiang's guidebooks. As the person who had added on Wang Hoxiang's guidebooks, Ying Xize was also waiting in anticipation. Let him see, who would be the lucky fellow to win this big study hard for me gift bag. The prize drawing was coincidentally a few minutes before the dinner was supposed to start. Sang Wan-si came slightly late because of work, so she did not check her phone. In the end, she saw Ying Xize sitting there with a bitter smile on his face once she reached the restaurant. He was standing right by Liu Jiwei, it would be hard not to spot him. After greeting the director and producer, Sang Wan-si walked to Liu Jiwei's side and asked, what is wrong with him? Liu Jiwei looked at Ying Xize compassionately, then turned to tell Sang Wan-si, he won a prize. Sang Wan Si. Lu Ji Wei, that Wu San of mine. Sang Wan Si. Lu Ji Wei, oh, and the Wang Hosiang books he added on. Sang Wan Si. What a boomerang!